Hey, it's time to do systems by elimination. Again, the number is going to depend on how your teacher's setting this up. All right. Sorry, just making sure I spelled elimination right, because that would be awkward. Big key idea here is you're going to create zero pairs. Zero pairs being numbers that when you add them together, so for example, negative 3x and 3x. Because when I add those together, you're going to get 0. And so the first thing that you need to look at is, if you need to, you're going to multiply one or both equations to create that zero pair. Oops. So in this case here, notice that I can't easily turn a 2 into a 5, and I can't easily turn a 7 into an 8. So in this case, I'm going to have to multiply both equations through by something. So I'm going to multiply the easiest way to do this. So sometimes you can see numbers like a least common multiple that works. Other times it's just easier, and some people just do this off from the get-go. Just multiply by the other coefficient. Let me change the colors here quick to match this up, to make it stand out away from our big key here. So I'm going to multiply the top through by 2, I'm going to multiply the bottom through by 5, because when I do that, I'm going to get 10x in both. Now the thing is, we want a zero pair. We want them to be opposites. So I'm going to make the bottom one negative. And so when I multiply all this through here, and writing them over on the side oftentimes is an easier way to organize things. 10x plus 16y is going to equal 2. When I do it on the bottom, notice I get a negative 10x plus 35y is equal to 100. And that's the key. You gotta have this opposite right here. If I add 10x to negative 10x, I'm going to get 0 out of it. So the next step, step 2, is just going to be add the equations and solve. So you're going to add the equations and solve for whatever variable's left over. So in this case here, draw on your addition line. The 10x and the negative 10x go away. I add these 16y plus 35y is 51y. 2 plus 100 is 102. So you're going to end up with y is equal to 2. So that brings us to step 3, use value to find other variable. And this is exactly like what we do with substitution. So this, I'm going to plug into one of the other equations. It does not matter which one. I usually tend to try to do the ones that don't have as many, like the first equation is all positive coefficients. And so if I do it there, I don't have to worry about missing a sign accidentally as much. So be conscious of that. So 5x plus 16 is equal to 1, yada, yada, yada. 5x equals negative 15, divide through by 5, you get x equals negative 3. There's the other piece there. And so then step 4 is, remember, you're going to write this as an ordered pair because you want to be seen as a mathematician. So we're going to take both of these and write it as a beautiful negative 3, comma 2. Because remember, from when you're doing this by graphing, the way the two equations line up, more often than not, they're going to intersect at a single point. And just like before, be careful of negative signs and the details, because that's what always ends up messing up people. 2 times 4 is 6. No, it's not. It's 8. Go slow enough that you're not making those silly mistakes. Now, just like with the substitution stuff, for the special cases, I just kind of jumped to after you already did the adding part, or after you did the multiplication part to get 0 pairs. And it's going to look very, very similar to what happened in substitution. Notice here, if I add these things up, the x's end up going to 0, the y's end up going to 0. And remember, if it's 0, you don't have to write the variable in there. So you get 0 is equal to 0. And that's true. If I get a true result like this and I'm trying to solve it, that means I have infinitely many solutions. And likewise, what's going to happen over here? You're going to get a false thing, right? The variables are still going to disappear. I'm still going to get 0 in for the x's. I'm still going to get 0 in for the y's. But now I got this crazy negative 124 floating around out over here. And those aren't equal. 0 does not equal negative 124. All right, so that means that I have no solutions on this case. And again, a lot of times people like that because there's less math to do. So just be conscious of that. Don't freak out. I would still go back and double check your work to make sure you didn't multiply something wrong or miss a sign. But after you do that, it's perfectly legitimate. So we'll see you in class. Enjoy. Remember, we'll have a quiz on this shortly. And as always, do your work, show your work, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, share this with your friends. And yeah, whatever else YouTubers say. Talk to you soon.